saluto a
Hey,
tutti.
what's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, and it's match day, our favorite days. All right, and it's Coppa Italia round 16. It's going to be Juventus versus Salernitana, and I've got my man John Grow with me today. John, how are you doing, man?
Fantastic. How are you? Happy New
Oh,
Year.
I'm doing great. Doing great, man. Always great. You know, we were talking in the green room about the Chihuahuas out there chirping, and that's just another sign that we're back, baby. We're back rent free, and that's a good sign. That's one of the best signs. When they're talking about us, we know we're back, and that inferiority complex is starting to sink in again, eh?
Oh, you know me. I got family that are part of the Chihuahua crew. They just went to go. A bunch of them just went away. They're going grazing and I don't know, going for something. But they're already barking about, oh, you guys, free road all the way to the semifinals. Opportunely and that offside call, non-call on Rabiot. I'm like, Jesus, like. It's like you almost forget how it feels to be badgered by these morons,
Oh
but
yeah.
it is what it is. It's a happy new year. It's a exciting time, and we got an interesting time happening now with this mercato and what is going to happen. Like I am probably the first time in years where I'm like I have no clue what's
Yeah.
happening, and that's probably a good thing because Paratici ruined this. I call him the parasite. Ruined this club. So knowing that we can step away from that, not necessarily, um, you have this thing on our back where we know we're going to get fished in for money or bring in some idiot that we don't need. It's a
Yeah.
different air, which is
Yeah. Totally. It's going to be interesting to see what Juventus decides they want to do. It could go a number of different ways. We do have a question immediately out there with Mercado, which we will talk about, and we'll talk about all the news that's kind of come out this morning before getting into the actual game ahead of us, which is going to be Salernitana Juventus, and we'll look at tactics, we'll look at lineups. There's a lot of news in regards to our probable or our projected lineup, and we will discuss it. I want to say what's up to my man, used to be known as UV Boy 99 on YouTube here, coming in from South Africa. Always appreciate the love, my friend. Happy to see you in here. We got Edgar, happy to catch you live after a long time. Samardzic on the cards. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Ciao to Abby there. And then Mark, of course, saying good morning. Would really like to see a signing this month. So, Canadian boy, Tejan Buchanan set to go to Merda, so he's gonna. Yeah, I hate to see it as a Canadian player, but you know what? It is a good piece of business, I think, for Inter. They keep rallying up the business, but we'll talk about what we think about Juventus. And the question has been going on for a while. Now that the Mercado is actually open, it's that question that can we get it done with or without additions? I've been saying yes, we still can. We're 2 points out right now. There is some tweaks, I think. Mad Max, beautiful shirt you have on there right now, my friend. And for everybody tuning in, we always appreciate your support. You know, you guys with the memberships, Super Chat is enabled. For the next 4 days, as it kicked off yesterday, 24% off everything in the merch store. And you're going to find yourself some new designs. We got Rabiot, Cavallo Pazzo, Crazy Horse. All right, we've got Cortomuso, Banda del Cortomuso for everybody looking to support Mad Max himself. And then, of course, some AJC designs. But check it out. And there's a ton in the catalog there. I'm sure you'll find something you like. And if you choose to support us that way, we thank you very, very much. And thank you to those who already have. And then, of course, our sponsorship and John, head and president of Toronto Official Fan Club and head of the North American official fan clubs. Guys, if you have one in your vicinity, please, please reach out. Let's get you in touch with who you need to talk to and join up. The watch parties alone are worth it, let alone all the other perks. And I'm sure at some point today, John's going to tell us about some of the plans for the clubs later on this year. And I know that Toronto's always got a special trip planned, and I know you do this year as well. So we're going to get into all of that for sure. And now, the news. So, We want to kick it off through headlines. We'll kind of go with each one almost in order of what happened this morning. And we got reports with Rabiot, his renewal, talking about the new merch with Cavallo Pazzo. 3 to 4 years, apparently, being reported today is what Juventus could be looking at with Rabiot, and obviously keeping the salary the same and running it for that course. Man, this Rabiot one's been a split for quite some time, and now all of a sudden has started to show a majority, which is in line with getting the extension done. However, it has been around 2 years. Now all of a sudden, it's the first time we've heard like 3 to 4 years. I just want to get your stance on Adrien Rabiot and what you think if we were to lock him down 3 to 4 years.
Oh my goodness. I think these 1 year deals have actually done us well. We locked him in with his first deal was 3. Was it 3 years? The first
His first deal was 4, and then we
4.
extended for the fifth, which this is his fifth season.
Look, I honestly I trust this management. Mana, Giuntoli. I mean, these guys are in a better place than most people are in the league. They are very sound. I think they're looking to solidify this team at least to 2028. And if we look at the extensions, you mentioned it in I'm pretty sure in one of your podcasts, one of the episodes, that you're just extending and you're spreading out the salary. And I think that if we can do something along the same lines where we're not, I'm hoping it's not 9 million, to be very honest with you. If it is, I'm on the fence, to be very honest. Look, has he been a solid player for us? Has he been a bit of an Iron Man? Absolutely. Um, and we can't fool ourselves. We want to go back to Champions League soccer. We want to be impactful. We want to go deep. We want to win. Um, is Do you consider Adrien Rabiot a Champions League caliber winning midfielder? Is he the guy? Is he one of the guys? I don't think we have anyone in the midfield. To be very honest, outside of and people are going to hate me for this, but Locatelli, outside of how he's been playing, I mean, does he need a little more? Absolutely, but I wouldn't spend that money. That you're looking at 36 million dollars over 4 years on a player. I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if we can go out there and get players and focus in on the rebuild. Yeah, I get it. His leadership is fantastic, but I mean, there even there's leadership now on this team. There's Gatti, there's Danilo. These guys are pop up Locatelli. Guys are taking the reins. I don't know. Like I said, I'm really confused about this one. 2 years, I would have said no brainer. Four
Yeah,
years, 3 4 years, it's too much for me. I don't want that. Like, we're going young. How old is he now, Al? What is he at right now?
I'll pull it up. I think he's 28, 29, somewhere in that range, but I'll tell you real quick here. He is 28 years old.
At 32, still not bad. I mean, that's why even to the 30, you're getting at a good age. 2 years, I don't know. I guess his
Yeah.
mom's really strong holding these negotiations, man. It's crazy.
I when I I think about this Rabio one, I mean, I yeah, 3 to 4 years. That takes him to what 32 years old, which isn't bad if that's where we end things. He has been, and a lot of fans haven't agreed with me, but I don't feel this season he's been to the caliber as last season. That's just me personally. However, that's not saying he still isn't important and has been one of our best midfielders, because that is still true.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. 3 to 4 years at that money, I'd have to know the other option. But I mean, even when I look at that, he has a role within this team. He's been doing a great job. I kind of like I don't have a problem with the renewal. I don't have a problem necessarily with the money staying the same. If it's a 2 year for a 4 year, that's where I'm starting to wonder. I don't know here. I kind of have some question marks, but it's tough. It's a really tough spot. I think it might put them in a position where if you look at the midfield overall, you're gonna have to probably shed some weight somewhere else. Like, I mean, McKennie's got to be sold then, I think, at some point. Like, it's really weird. If they did this for 4 years at that money, something's gonna have to change. Tony Cruz, there's rumors out there about this guy. I'll tell you right now, that's a no-brainer, but that's gonna require some money. If you were gonna tell me that Rabiot's deal was probably gonna be what sends that away, if that was a possibility, that's why I say options matter. I'm probably gonna say no to a 4 year at that money if it means no to Cruz.
100%.
Yeah.
There, you're look, the caliber, the pedigree coming in, like that's that is, you can't falter what has been proven. Like he's proven, Tony Cruz, to bring him in our mid. Just think about the qualities he will give guys in the mid to understand his type of plays. The same thing was when Ronaldo was brought in, for some of the guys who really didn't pick up, who were supposed to pick up a lot of his traits and his willingness to win and how far he'll go. And but that's a no brainer. Like, look, good player for us. Is he a great player? Is he a decision maker? Look, he was a decision maker on a Saturday with Roma. Fantastic, way to go. He's not going to be a decision maker in the Champions League. Sorry. And if that's our goal next year, is to be competitive in that tournament, or any other tournament we may be in, uh, he's uh, he's on our bench. I'm sorry. You want to win or you want to go deep? He's on our bench.
It's tough to say too because he's part of the France side that's loaded and gets in there on the lineup with Deschamps. So I mean, it's a tough one with Rabiot. It's just that 4 years I don't like, and the money. I mean, before I was always saying he's not worth the money. I wouldn't even keep it the same. I never liked that salary. I always thought it was too high. But that last season, I'm like, okay, you know what? That's a season worthy of that money, in my opinion. But again, I go back to this season and I'm like, you see the performances like Monza, that's the Rabiot I expect at that money. That's what I expect. That's what I
Yeah.
want to be the norm, you know? But I get it. And yeah, he does some of the dirty work, but again, it's a tough one. I don't think it's an easy call, but we'll see what happens with Adrien Rabiot. That discussion's going to be happening all year long, heading into the end. Dean Huijsen. So the news broke out that Roma was trying to make a last-ditch effort, but he should still be heading to Frosinone, and that deal wrapped up. But the question came up, and people were asking, would you rather him go to Roma with them being in more competitions and whatnot? Before I answer, I'm going to ask you, do you have a preference where he goes between Roma and
Yeah.
Frosinone?
Yeah. Frosinone. 100%. Because the wheel's been already, like, we've already gone through the litmus test with Branachea, with Kaya George, and even Sule. You're talking about something that's a system, a team that's allowed them to kind of run underneath the radar, play strong games. It's a great stadium for those who are from to central Italy. Central Italy. If you guys have a chance to go where to watch Frosinone, do it. The stadium is absolutely stunning. But I have like that. You don't ruin it. If there's a strong relationship, and these guys are a feeder club, you want to be in their good books. I
Yeah,
would never ever consider Roma a feeder club to Juve, and I think
yeah.
someone wrote in the thing is screw Roma, no favors for anybody. I mean, they're still in competitions. They play against us. I wouldn't go Roma. I love Jose Mourinho. Not very common for most Juventini to love this guy. Almost trying to sabotage after the game, where he's hugging Huijsen and giving him props. I was like, oh, typical Mourinho. It's like pulling a page out of Pep's book. And But yeah, no, Frosinone would be for me. It's like I said, it's already there's a dialogue, communication. There's an understanding with the organization, and we need sustainability, and we need something that is uh, gives us a firm ground to work with. We don't want to rock the boat and say, whether or not we send him to Roma, what happens to him or anything. And that field, for all those who understand, and I'm not trying to jinx anybody, since 2015, there have been 21 ACL ruptures on that potato field in Rome. So this kid's
Yeah.
going to be playing 19 home games and other matches. No, thank you. You've seen the likes of Demirel and Zaniolo pretty much, and Chiesa almost ruin their careers. Thing Demirel and Zaniolo will never be the same. Chiesa, being Chiesa and his physical fitness, the guys who've just come out of there, you don't want to be playing there, and that's just from a technical side. But yeah, Frosinone all the way. My mother-in-law would be happy. She's from Ciociaria. She's from that area of Italy, so she'd be happy with me saying "Viva Frosinone." And
There you
they have a
go. Yeah, it's worked out well for the others. I think there's more playing time, way more playing time available to him there, despite the competitions and everything that Roma's in. A little bit more pressure there. The field, yes, like for me, it's Frosinone as well. Just a number of reasons there. So yeah, Frosinone, I prefer that. Now we've got Felipe Anderson, whose names come up, and again today now you get Nico Skira weighing in there saying that yeah, they're sizing up and Juve's sizing up a 3-year deal, 4 million euros for Felipe Anderson, who is going to be a free agent at the end of the season. It is said that Lazio's got an offer on the table somewhere with a salary around 3 million euros. And we've got ours, which his player and his entourage want to hit around 4 million euros. I'm not big on the Felipe Anderson move. John, what do you think about this potential move if it were to happen?
not a not a fan.
Yeah.
Uh, Give me a Carlos Alberto. Don't give me this guy. I want wrong player from Lazio. Give me a guy like Zaccagni from Lazio. I don't want Felipe Anderson. I feel like it's a filler move, and we can do that internally. We can bring in guys here, and you talk about it. Is 4 million is a lot. What were we offering? Milinkovic Savic when he was coming, was it at the it was under the 4 million if he were going to
He
come
was
to
going to
you.
be right around the 3 mark, which was going to be a like over quadruple what he was getting. Like he was under, I think, a mil or maybe at a mil. Maybe it's like 3 times what he was making.
So
So
caliber
yeah,
of player and impact, there's no if we were ready to give 3 million plus, and I would have carried SMS to Torino from the Rome area for the 3 million. I would have paid for the flights and his family. I would have paid for the transition to Torino. I would have done it all for him. The Felipe Anderson, absolutely not. This,
yeah.
you want to get in like at 2.5. Maybe you think about it for a couple of years. You get him on board. You get him there to 2026. I don't see him. Look, they've done such a great job of of creating a foundation for this team up until 2028, and that I don't know if most fans even pay attention to that. How great that is to know who your team will be until 2028. Crucial contract extensions, re-signings that will give us an amazing leadership and team foundation that will allow the management and coaching staff to put in key elements. I don't and key elements. That's what we say. Would you ever consider Felipe Anderson a key element to a team?
No, so I mean, maybe 5 years ago. But like, no, not now. And I understand the argument that some are making. I was shocked when I put that I'm not interested in this move on Twitter. I was bombarded by somebody that was like, what's the matter with you? Look at his numbers." Where I was like, I don't care. I don't care about 1 goal, 5 assists from a winger, an out and out winger, on a team where he gets a ton of freedom because they high press, they're attacking, they're looking for goals, and they haven't been scoring a bunch. But yeah, those numbers don't really like just hit me like, oh my God, we got to get him. And the fact that he's had consistent numbers throughout the season, I still don't care. I see what I see. I see a guy that is an average player. He is an average player. And 4 million for 3 years, I question everything. Number one, I also said, I understand wanting depth, wanting strength and depth if we're going to be spread out next season with European play. But depth doesn't have to mean an experienced player. It just has to be guys that can contribute off the bench. So
Yeah.
for me, depth right now, let's just take the midfield for example. I think we would be lacking depth, obviously, because if Moretti was a guy to be called upon because his game hasn't come through for Juventus. So for
No.
me, it doesn't mean that it has to be an experienced player that offers that depth. No, it just has to be someone that can deliver. It could be a young player. Let's say we brought in Samardzic all of a sudden. Samardzic, say he doesn't get into starting because McKennie keeps on the tear he does and Max doesn't want to go. But would you feel better with a Samardzic coming off the bench than you would a Moretti? I would feel better with a Samardzic coming off the bench, and he's 21 years old. Depth doesn't always mean experience. It just
No.
means the players and what they bring coming off that bench need to have an impact. So for me, if I'm looking at this and I'm looking at this Felipe Anderson, um, I'm looking at it thinking, are we staying in a 3-5-2? And if we are, then yeah, whatever. I still don't see him working. He's definitely not going to play wingback. But let's say, for the sake of argument, yeah, we're looking to move to a 4-3-3 next season. Then I'm still left with a ton of questions about this Juventus because I don't want to play Kostic as an out and out left back. I don't want to play Timothy Weah as an out and out right back. Okay. And that's two guys that would probably move up to wing as well. You've got Keane that could play as wing unless we move him. You've got Chiesa still. Sule, who's set to return. I'm not looking at this team like we have to bring in Felipe Anderson. That's what I think. And I apologize, guys, with my autofocus on the camera. When I wear dark, it seems to go wonky. But do you kind of agree with what I'm saying there, John? Or
Yeah, like if I'm looking at depth, I'm looking at depth on the D. I'm with you. If we got to go transition, and Max hasn't been able, and I know people will hate me for this, but the tools and the utility he had in his first run with Juventus is greater than that of what we have now. So you have him running a pretty lean and unilateral formation. So there's no real creativity with regards to kind of changing things up. And you need you need a right back or a true right back and a left back, unless we want to give DeShilio a 10-year deal and see if he pans out at the age of 60. But at that point, you got to go out there and really solidify down the middle. On the D, I think we're great. You look at Danilo, Bremer, Gatti, Rugani is doing his job. We got to be up the middle towards the pitch. If we're going to play that 3-5-2, we're not worried about wing backs. We have quite a few, and we need three solid guys in the mid. We need guys that'll help out and give that extra look. I'm going to bring up Inter Merda. They take out a Cianoblo or Mkhitaryan, they're bringing in Fratesi. Like, we don't have that opportunity to bring in Fratesi in the second half with 60 minutes at the 60th minute, and the other team's like, screw this, man. He goes, we just had to man mark these two mutts for the last 60 minutes. Now we got to man mark this guy who's, you're talking about depth. You're not talking about experience or whatever. This guy gives you depth and whatever. We don't have that. And I've been privy to watching games. I was at the Juve Inter game in Torino in November, and that was my worry. I'm like, I want these guys, these starting 11, to last as long as they can, because our changes versus their changes were horrid, and this is the whole deal. This is That's why I don't see this guy. Um, this guy would, for me, would be like the equivalent, no joke, of a Pereira when we had him back in the early days of the
Yeah, yeah,
rebuild with Juve. Like, that's and how much time did Pereira see? Like, I don't see him being impactful. Like, I if you need a guy off the bench, you need at least, I want 5 to 8 goals.
yeah,
Felipe Anderson's not giving you 5 to 8 goals,
yeah.
and he's like I said, you're building. Think he's coming from Sorry Ball. I hate Maurizio Sarri. For those who love him, good for you. You can go and join him picking his nose at the side of the field, and or do whatever you want. I think he's an absolute horrible coach. That's my opinion. And I don't see that play. Lazio, you can play beautiful ball and win 2-0, or lose terribly, and that's sorry ball for you. But yeah, Felipe Anderson's not one on my radar. I don't. We're not there. We don't need him. That's not where the focus is. That's why we look at guys like Sudakov, Samardzic, and a few other guys. Like, as much as I don't like him, like Calvin Phillips would be more of a utility for us right now than Felipe Anderson. And I wouldn't take Calvin Phillips either.
Yeah. The Phillips Hoiberg, they do nothing for me in terms of those moves. Now we got, with DeShilio back, can we go 4-man at the back? There's still some trying to make the argument to make this switch. I'm standing firm on what I've said. Like, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. I think if we do any tweaks, it has to be something subtle. Like now, and we're going to talk about him, Kenan Yildiz. Maybe attempting to play him as an advanced midfielder, which he did at Primavera at Juve Next Gen, playing behind forwards. I would maybe try that as a tweak, but going to 4-man back, and again, DeShilio, absolutely not. Absolutely not from me, okay? There are few things I feel very strongly about. DeShilio being counted on one is one of them. Alexandro is the second. And those are the two you will always have me. If you're going to try to change my mind on those two guys, good on you. But pack a lunch, because you're in for a full day's work, all right? It's not going to happen. So I don't want to see that. But Yildiz, this is an interesting one, because leading up to this game, a lot of fans got fired up with Max's presser yesterday, saying that Yildiz is not going to be playing, and we have to calm down with the youngster. 2 games do not decide if you were a champion or not. And I gotta say, we all know what Max is doing, and Max has always done this, and that's protect those young players. But the hype around him for one contribution so far in and I get it, 2 matches started, brief cameo before that. I get it, but holy hell, does it really show you how quickly it escalates and gets out of hand, to the point where now we're talking about he has to be in this lineup for this Coppa Italia. And I'm thinking about it in maybe a different manner. Both matches against Salernitana this week are important. This one is
Yeah.
a knockout, though. And right now, as things stand, before we make that tweak we were just talking about, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, he still is playing in Federico Chiesa's position.
Mhm.
And in a one-off match, I myself am going to go with Federico Chiesa.
Yeah.
And even with him being the direct sub to Federico Chiesa, that's a win for me. And he's still going to get ample opportunities. The only way I get maybe fired up about Yildiz is if he, in fact, is not played or used at bare minimum as the direct substitute for Chiesa. Because for me, the two of them need to exchange at that second striker role. And Vlahovic, Milik, and Keane can rotate with the other striker role. if as long as that happens, I'm fine, and this kid's gonna get ample opportunities, and I'm okay with that. What are your thoughts with the Yildiz hype and just the call to not play him in a Coppa Italia match?
Well, look, my views on Allegri. It's I think he's done a great job. I think that there's a serenity amongst the team that and I agree with Fultzy over here that he will start this weekend. I think that you're right, and that's look. Mathematics is this: you want a guy who's legitimately impactful in games, and you want to put this thing to bed. Fed is a guy. As much as I've lost a little bit of I guess. Uh, of my appreciation for his football. Just I think I don't the injury I think is kind of taken out the flame of his killer instinct. But I still think the guy is the guy. Like he needs to bring back. He needs to be back to where he was pre-injury. He's not. I don't think he's there 100%. But he needs to be out there. He needs to be the guy scoring the goals. Yildiz will get his chance. It is this, this growth amongst the team. I think he's. I don't think you would even have any problems with Yildiz knowing that he's coming off the bench. I think that I think it's fantastic. I think what Max is doing, he's now found himself another tool that he didn't think he had at the beginning of the season. Having that extra tool gives him flexibility of how he moves the team around. And I think, someone put it in the chat right now. Could we see Yildiz, Vlahovic, and Chiesa on the pitch at the same time? Who knows? It may be a Mad Max moment when he puts them on and he allows for that to happen. And I think that it's giving us a different layer of support. I have no problems with him starting off the bench. I honestly do think with the string of games that are coming up, we have today's game, the weekend again against Salernitana, and then if we make it past this round, when we make it past this round, we play next week again against Frosinone, and then there's the break until April for Coppa Italia. But you're talking about again the normalcy of Juventus playing 5 games or 4 games in a matter of a week and a half. We haven't had that experience, and I'm going to tell you that is great litmus test for this team to see where we've come from the beginning of this year till now. And I've said it. I said January for me will be this period is going to be crucial, not because of the games who we're playing, but the number of games we are playing, and see if there's stamina, sustainability in these players to play 4 games in 8 days.
Yeah, it's I gotta say, out of all the things, and I mean, I have my only criticism so far up to this point of Max is maybe trying a couple tweaks. That's really it. And
Yeah.
looking for answers within, because I wasn't banking on anything happening in January, maybe a midfielder, okay?
Yeah.
But it's very important to find some answers, I think, with the guys we do have. Now, we will talk about probable lineup. We're going to talk about Salernitana and everything. Then we're going to get to Storm the Barn. I saw that there was one earlier on there, and we'll get to it all, okay? But we'll talk Salernitana real quick here. Our probable lineup, we're going to get into it. It'll talk about youngsters as well and everything. But I think Max has handled the roster absolutely to perfection right now this season. There are some shouts here and there. Like, I know the Illing Jr. one will strike most as why he hasn't, and I will agree with that. I do believe he should have been getting some minutes, some more minutes up to this point. However, is it make or break? How can you say otherwise when the results are right there in front of us? So it's one of these tough things. Now we enter Coppa Italia. He's there. He's starting. Would there have been more opportunities with European play as well for him to get more minutes in Serie A? Absolutely. He's still apparently one of the guys that could be moving to bring in some money on a deal. Monza is heavily after Illing Jr. right now. Going back to the Felipe Anderson move, I would much rather keep Illing Jr. if it came down to it, than spending that money bringing in Felipe Anderson. That's just me, to each their own. Okay, but now Salernitana. Pipo Inzaghi heading over there. There really hasn't been a big boost for Salernitana, even with his addition. Okay, but they did win on the weekend against Verona. They're going to be carrying that high to Juventus. What for them is a narrow victory against Verona, also. Okay, and I will say this: they are going to be missing Diaz, going to be unavailable for them, and Hurt. He's going to be looking for answers. He's reinstalled Simi into the lineup for them. 4-2-3-1. What's going to be interesting is if this is what they're expected to play. From a tactical standpoint, there's going to be a couple things I'm looking for from Juventus. Number one, with our Metsalas, it has to be way better because whenever we match up against two pivots, we rush our Metsalas forward and they lose that space. It becomes easy to mark. So I'm looking for the midfielders to figure out how to get on the ball, how to get into space and actually make an impact because, yeah, when we face two-man pivots, it's ugly. The flip side to this, 4-2-3-1 will give us an opportunity to do damage where we are very effective at, and that's on the flanks. So Yildiz Jr. is going to be out there. He should have space facing this formation from Salernitana and vice versa on the other side. We will give you the probable lineup, but I think Salernitana may be asking a lot if they're going to try and line up 4-2-3-1 against Juventus. We'll see what happens. Our probable lineup is this. Perin in goal, which was expected. The Coppa Italia was going to be his March, which is great. Rugani in the heart. Rugani in the heart of the defense. Gatti on one side, Danilo on the other. Left side, obviously. Cambiaso back in on the right side. Miretti, Locatelli, Rabiot, Illing, Milik, and Chiesa. Couple things right out of the gate, like we talked about. The flanks should be able to work. Illing Jr. and Chiesa on the left side is going to be interesting to watch. But the last time Cambiaso was out there, Chiesa played a lot on the opposite side, on the right side, trying to work off 1-2s with that player. It's going to be interesting to see this, but Chiesa, I expect free roaming left to right because he's going to be able to play 1-2s off Illing and off Cambiaso. This helps us. Miretti, it's going to be important for him to have a strong showing in this one. Rabiot's got to be Adrien Rabiot, and I've said this. We're screaming for impact out of the midfield. He's got to be that guy. What do you think of this lineup, and what are you looking for out of this one, John?
I'm going to tell you, I've said it one other time with you on a chat. This is going to be a Locatelli game. This
All
is going to
right.
be Locatelli's game based on the formation, and that this is like I almost feel that Inzaghi's gone to the school of Mourinho and Allegri here. He's trying to absorb. He's playing with a one attacker, which obviously even with our three, even if we had Bremer by himself, they wouldn't have passed. The guy's an absolute wall. And I'm glad he's getting rest. Hopefully with this probable lineup. I think I see a lot of wing. You're right. It's going to be Cambiaso and Illing, but I feel that this is going to be a lot of play coming in at the top of the box. We started off strong at the beginning of the year. I don't know if you guys remember, like our crosses, the number of corner kicks were up, our ability off the corners, our D's were scoring off of headers, set plays. It's kind of tailed off. I'm looking for a really really strong game from both Cambiaso and Illing Jr. They have to be impactful. That's Max's game. And Luca's got I'm going with the Luca goal, at least a Luca scoring today. Again, top of the box where he's not given enough service. And that's just because of the quality of our midfield. And I would love for him, like I said, he's impactful. This type of formation on Salernitana, this is a Luca game. This is all Locatelli. If he's able and smart to really dig deep, he's gonna destroy the Salernitana midfield. His balls, he's got to be given free reign to give them. You talk about Chiesa giving free reign, it's got to be Locatelli being able to distribute that ball up into the mid and bring it up. You know, you're gonna have the Cavallo Pazzo over there galloping up the field with the ball. It's like it's almost glued to his feet. I can tell you that much when I see Rabiot. But if there's distribution, Locatelli, most people don't even look at it. He's one of the best in the game. He's got laser precision with his passing, and he's a big cross field. You know, we haven't seen that type of those crosses since Bonucci, and it's going to be very important to the success of Juventus. And today's going to be one of those games. I honestly think I can pinpoint Luca's strengths. Today's going to be his game.
I hope you're right. He can do it. Like when you talk about the pass, where you're talking about switch it in field and everything like that, like he can do it. It's just, yeah, it has been nowhere near the consistency we need. And I think we could say that about even our best De Cavallo Pazzo and consistency. I talked about it earlier. We just need to get these guys locked in. But the midfield, we need to figure out a way where these guys can actually get in more influence on the game. And we got to take the ball away from the defenders so much. I don't want to see a game with Danilo, Gatti, Rugani trying to distribute and make those calls and pull those strings. I want Miretti dropping back instead of running forward to break the lines. I want him on the ball because he can actually distribute and switch field as well very nicely. Rabiot's got decent enough passing ability. Sometimes I feel he doesn't trust himself enough, but I need the midfield to come in and collect and move it, okay? However, we'll see what happens. It's time, and we're going to get to predictions, the prediction challenge. You guys know the drill. Final score, 2 tiebreakers, okay? But real quick, we got to put out a couple of business and housekeeping announcements. So we've got the big giveaway this weekend, okay? So this weekend, an official fan club in North America is going to be chosen for a signed retro 84 Ariston jersey, beautiful, signed by legend Roberto Bettigan on the back, the current squad. So we are going to randomly draw, okay, before this weekend's matchup on the live, which fan club is the winning fan club. And then from there, we will be provided a list of set members, but set members who are subscribed to this channel, and then randomize the winner. That's fantastic. I know there's everybody saying, what about us, Berto? You know, you made the bet. You said Allegri. You said Allegri has to be around, is not going to be around this season, and I'll bet 10 kits on it. Don't worry. Don't worry, I have you all covered. We've already done 2. This is the 3rd out of the 10 kits, and I know it's just North America, but you guys, I always got you covered, okay? So I've got 3 right now, and I have more on the way. This is one that'll be available for everybody, okay? So you get your home Ariston kit, okay? I'm taking it a little bit back. You guys know I love the retro, but we got one of these bad boys too, okay? 15-16. And, guys, I tell you, I always got you guys covered. And we got another. Okay? So let's go. Who's your boy? Who's got you guys covered? Those 3 are going to be open to everyone, all right? Everybody, but again, for the love in North America, the fan clubs, that's a brilliant kit that's going to be giveaway. And like I said, these are just the 3 retros. We have current ones coming as well. I'm going to hit that target. Like I said, we're giving away 10. I'm a man of my word. I made that wager. I lost, okay? But I'm happy losing that wager with him finally producing. And I think Max needs to be credit where credit is due. And agendas, I don't really have them. And I'll call out anybody when the time comes. And when it is, like, I try to keep it level. And I will say this, that Massimiliano Allegri, for me, has been a huge surprise, because I wasn't sure last season to this one that we would see the turnaround. But maybe what it needed was a major impact, the cleanup in the locker room. And maybe there were locker room issues there, and Max alluded to that in several interviews and pressers even. that goes a long way. I think everything's moving in the right direction and we could finally feel it. The blackouts have kind of disappeared and nobody's really saying anything about it. I noticed that the majority, not the majority, but a lot of the fans still have this feeling like it could come back at any time. And oh my God, we're going to get blown up because we're playing this Cortomuso and whatnot. But I really don't think so. I think the defense is the spine, it is the strength of this team. And from there, we build out. The conversion is really where we need to clean things up and a little more influence. That's why I say just one more tweak to find that perfect balance where we could still remain solid but help our attackers, because it's too easy to pick on them for missed chances. But I think a little bit more help with them and keeping them in positions like Chiesa, for one, having him drop back and then being the one to deliver key passes is not what I
No.
really like to see. I want him to be able to remain up top and stay up there, and that's why we need a little bit of help. If it's a guy like Yildiz being an advanced midfielder centrally, I'm all for it, okay? But otherwise, that's why I say the guys in the midfield, I'm expecting a lot because I want Chiesa up there, all right? But let's see what happens. As everybody, like I said, some fans feel like we could get blown up at any time. I also feel it could be said the other direction. If our finishing all of a sudden becomes what it needs to be, boom, you flick a switch and all of a sudden we could be putting these games away comfortably. One thing's followed Juventus steadily this season. We jump out first. We jump out ahead first and we
Yeah.
score that first goal. Now, time for the prediction challenge. I'm going to let John, our guest, lead us off. Final score, okay, and then 2 tiebreaker predictions that could be anything. Fire away, my friend. And everybody in live chat, get your predictions in right now.
Yeah, it's 2-0. It will be a Locatelli and Vlahovic. Locatelli and Chiesa goals today. I'm gonna say, you want another tiebreaker? Tiebreakers. Man, if he was a little healthier, he'd see the pitch. Sandro sees the pitch today. And Man, maybe Allegri's son sees the pitch too. Deschilio.
The
Honestly, that's my
Gilio.
thought. Deschilio sees the pitch. If he's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, he'll see the end of the game just to get him on the pitch. I have a Please don't take this the wrong way. Sandro could leave this team today, and there's no shedding tears. I will hire the Uber driver to bring him to wherever he needs to bring. I'll pay his wage. I have a soft spot for Matias, so especially after that the goal he scored against Roma a couple of years back, that was epic. I just like to see him healthy and not broken the way he's been for a long time. But I think I'm going to say Sandro. I can't see them both. Sandro comes on for sure, and I see Nicolucci Caviglia coming on as well on the pitch. That guy needs time. He needs minutes on the pitch. I can see him coming in, substituting Locatelli or Rabiot in the second.
All right.
There you have Sandro and Nicolucci. Come on.
All right. All right. I'm going to get into some key stats. We're going to get to everybody's prediction. So we got 2-0 here. We got 2-0 Juventus Chiesa Vlahovic. We got Animesh with 2-0 Milik and Rugani. We've got Suarez saying that we're going to have 3-0 or 4-1. We got
I
Winger
don't like
Winter with
goal
2-0
again.
Miretti and Chiesa assist to Caviglia. We got Ryan S with a 2-1 Locatelli and Vlahovic. We got Forza Juve with a 3-0 Gatti. Chiesa and Nonje, who Max said might get some minutes in this one. Would be great to see him in there. For me, I am going to go with a 2-0 victory in this one. I am going to say that one of the goal scorers is the Cavallo Pazzo. Rabiot gets another one today, and I think Gatti finds one. So I think we actually are 2-0 up at half, and I think that we get healthy rotation at the 60 to 65th, and I think we just kind of move on from there. Maybe add one for 3-0. That could go to one of the youngsters, but Yeah, I'm going to go with 2-0, and I'm going to say Rabiot and Gatti are goal scorers. Key stats heading into this one. Juventus have won 12 games in 2023 by a 1-0 scoreline. All right, so keeping with that 1-0 FC Cortomuso there. Juventus have not conceded only 7 goals in their last 14, have now conceded only 7 goals in their last 14 home matches, with no team actually putting in more than one on them in a game. Juventus have won the Coppa Italia record 14 times, with their last win coming in 2022. Salernitana last won an away game in January of 2023. Okay, so yeah, it's almost at a calendar year, a full calendar year, and Salernitana has got no away victories. Make no mistake about it, this one's got to be a victory. Salernitana have 6 defeats and 2 draws from their 8 games on the road this season. We're going to add another loss there. Okay, now, before we get to Storm the Barn, which it's now time for, guys, I told you, big things, 24% off everything in the merch store. I just want to highlight some of these things because, you know, we got some good stuff in there. All right, so we had to show some love for the crazy horse finally getting some love, so you could find yourself some crazy horse merch there. Here's one with the mug. We do also have a new Del Piero artwork, kind of artistic tee there. Brilliant with the classic celebration. All right, that's just a couple of the new designs, and then yeah, we do show some love for the Mister there in a Corto Muso style tee right there. All right, so some love for Mad Max as well. There's an alternate Corto Muso design as well, and then there's the Banda. So there's the Banda del Corto Muso. All right, so check these out, everybody. We're having a lot of fun with the gear, and you guys, hey, I'm sure you'll find something you like in there. There's, I don't even know how many pages in this catalog anymore. A ton of stuff, and I did tell you that there was. I will say this. This one is still waiting for, it's just pending our third party putting it up there. But check out this hat. Like, look at that hat. Corto
Oh,
Muso with the Mad Max behind it. Come on.
ooh.
Money,
Oh,
money. But I told you Cavallo Pazzo. We have the Cavallo Pazzo variant there. And this is brilliant too. So, again, check it out, you guys. I'm sure you'll find some. And thank you to everybody who has supported through that. Now, without further ado, we get into Storm the Barn. Now, you can ask whatever you want. It could be past, it could be present questions and everything. And before we kind of let some of these come in, there was a question earlier about Kudo and what we think about Kudo as a player. And to be honest, I just haven't seen him enough to really comment on. He's at West Ham, a kind of national team member, 23 years old, midfielder. I haven't seen enough to really state anything on it, so I don't think it's going to be satisfactory for everybody that's out there. So I'm probably going to leave that question there. Apologies to whoever asked it. But when Omar's on, I'm sure Omar will have his thoughts on Kudo, unless you follow Mohamed Kudus and you have a take on him, John. But I could be flat out honest right here. I don't see enough there.
yeah, no, I'm not a big EPL fan, so I don't watch a lot of the soccer. I'll watch highlights, but I'm not. I don't like watching tennis on an open pitch.
Yeah,
So that's it's. But like I said, there's my son. If he was in here right now, he'd be lighting you up on this kid.
there we
So,
go.
but it takes a kid for a kid. He'd be like, "What are you talking about? You don't know who this guy is." I've seen him. Nothing that I could even share that would be remotely considered, as my wife would say. There's not much I say that could be impactful. So uh, definitely not going to be impactful about this kid. That's for sure.
There you go. There you go. Let's get to this one from Jeremiah. Hypothetical. how would you guys feel if management gets Mbappe on a free in the summer and sell Duchamp? How would I feel about it? Oh my God.
Where do we go? Where do we sign? And can we then create statues of Calvo, Giuntoli, Manna in Turin, and like just not even bronze, platinum?
Man,
What would we do?
bringing in Mbappe would shore up that right back role so fast. It would be incredible, man. Oh, yeah. Sign me up. Max throws him at right wing back. Let's rock.
Absolutely. Listen, our new number 7 playing center D alongside thing. Danilo's on those way out. Got to find a partner for Bremer right
Oh,
there.
yeah. My God, I would. They could save the fees on flights and whatever. I'd go pick this guy up, carry him on my back to Turin.
It would be.
Absolutely.
They would have to create these
Absolutely. There's nothing to say to that one other than hell yeah. Oh yeah. It's just
no brainer.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, what are we even talking about here? Mbappe? Yes, please. Now, who is your favorite youngster? It doesn't have to be the youngster with the highest ceiling, so just who's your favorite youngster currently at Juventus?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, we're
Uh,
both gonna take our.
yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. The guy who introduced me to him is a big a fan is Fabrizio Capobianco, the president of the Silicon Valley, is Nicolosi Caviglia. I didn't really know much about him. But did a lot of background. This kid is a real deal. I technically sound. I love his game. I love his dedication to the jersey. Quiet player on the pitch, lets the work get done by what he does. He's not a guy who's going to be loud and overbearing on the pitch in terms of his presence. I love that type of player. Go to work, let the actions lay, let do your job. Don't cause any shit on the field. He's that type of player. I can't see this kid having a bad tackle, bad pass, or even not doing his job consistently. He's going to be, I'm hoping, a real Iron Man for our midfield for a lot of years to come.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how all the rumors about like loans and everything like that, and there's a lot of fans starting to make some noise and just say enough with the loans with this guy. Keep Caviglia around, and he could play a role. He's already passed the two stiffest tests he's going to get in terms of protection for Locatelli when playing against Inter. I believe played against Napoli as well. For me, it's a no-brainer. And another thing why I say I'm left just asking last couple questions of Max in terms of trying something to just get and establish more impact out of the midfield, and maybe it is moving Locatelli over by utilizing Hans Nicolosi Caviglia, or it could be a two-man pivot, and Caviglia could easily play a two-man pivot next to either one of Rabiot or Locatelli. And people that have doubts about Rabiot in a two-man pivot, no, he did it and performed it well. And at times with Juventus, even did it next to Zakaria. If you guys go way back, I have no fear. And I think with our guys and who we have in there, the two-man pivot is the way to do it. But I would not do it to just achieve a third winger and make it a right winger. It still needs that support and stability out of central. So it has to be like a 3-4-1-2 type setup where they still have that help and support on the defensive side of things as well. That's what I would try to go for. But in terms of the youngsters, Cavilla's up there. I would have said that it was Fagioli until the events, and I'd be lying to you all if I said that didn't kind of sour me a little bit on the player, because it has a little bit. But I still have high hopes for the player, but he pissed me off, and I'll be 100% honest there. Yildiz might be, and I know that I talk about hype and all this whatnot, but seeing kind of what has transpired in just 2 starts for the kid and the attitude, the demeanor, the last game, I actually thought his last game was miles ahead of the game where he scored against Frosinone. Last game, he didn't make a wrong decision while on the ball. He did not make one bad decision. For me, that's massive when we're talking about a kid that went through Primavera, straight to next gen, and then integrated into first team. If we're talking about young players, even the likes of Fagioli, who I would have had in the mix there, needed that loan to Cremonese. Caviglia has needed the loans. Miretti is needing a loan. His game's not transferring over, but here we are with Yildiz. He's labeled the Phenom for a reason. Was labeled the Phenom before we picked him up, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to go with Yildiz. And I think there was rumors floating around there. We post everything, obviously, with AJC, just because we put it all out there for you so you know what's being said and who's saying it. But I think this kid's untouchable. I think it's untouchable. I'm going to go with Yildiz. But love the shout on Caviglia. Love the shouts for Fagioli in the chat too. And Sule. Sule is an interesting one that many are picking. And Anthony off our team said 100% he thinks Sule is being sold in the summer. John, you think Ant's going to be right?
No. Nope. Anthony can stop hanging by the nuclear plant in Oshawa. There's no way. If that's the case, I will buy him a kit of wherever.
Okay, so if it happens, we got a kit going. There you go. There you
I will
go.
buy him whatever kit he wants for the new season, guaranteed of anybody. There's no way. Look, the my again, I don't want to go to the only thing that's looming over my head where it's that you talk about the maintaining this team and what have you is what the coaching is going to look like next year. If you said to me Allegri would be here for one more season, I would be a little more comfortable with everything that is happening amongst the contract extensions and what have you. I'm just a little bit on edge because you're getting consistency out of maintaining your roster, but the main component, the driving force behind your team is there. It is up in the air. I mean, they've done a great job of cutting it, bringing it back down, Juve, in terms of, and so has Allegri. It's just that's the only part for me. Sule will. It's impossible for me to see that guy being sold right now. It's like he's top 10 in league in scoring. Like you know what I mean? Like what else do you want in thing? And I'm gonna tell you, it takes a really good management or team to realize that this kid's got a lot of upside. And we saw it in many flashes when he came off the bench for us. But what he's doing with Frosinone, the swagger this guy's got on the pitch. If you guys watch these games, it's unreal. Like I love seeing him play. He's just confidence is oozing. You need that arrogance back on this team. You need that arrogance back on this team. I don't. There's very few, and I hate to say it, people like, "Oh, I don't like that type of mentality." No, 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 no. We are the best. We need the best, and we have to play the best. And a guy like that South American flair, the ability to come thing. I mean, everyone's comparing him to Di Maria. I don't like the comparison. I think that he's actually got more depth than Di Maria in terms of creativity. Di Maria was a true winger and what have you. Where I don't think Sule is just a winger in that sense. I think that's where he's playing. That's where he likes to play. I think he can play in the middle and behind the forwards, like in a trequartista role. I think he can, but Sule's got to. There's no way if he leaves, I'll be upset. That would be the loss that I would be upset about the most if we
All
lost it.
right. There you go. There you go. Now we get to we're praying for Inter to go bankrupt. If this does happen, who do you guys want us to sign? I say Bastoni. If I if I have to handpick somebody off their team, it would be Acerbi. Yes, that's a joke. Obviously, his tears are still flowing through the streets there in
Mud
Milan.
alert. Mutt alert.
I would
What?
honestly, man, I know that this is probably going to be not the pick, but it really depends. At that time, let's say hypothetically, I don't know. It's two guys that I'd probably be looking at. Honestly, I wanted this guy when he was available for free, and the Merdazzurri picked him up. But it's Marcus Thuram, and the other would be Barella. Those are the two guys I would be looking at. And Barella, I know, has been not to the level that he was when he, first went over there to Inter, whatnot. But he's still a quality midfielder. I'd be looking at those two guys myself personally. John?
Oh, for me it would hurt the most. Like I'd go after Lautaro and Barella, one the people with essence and like of the Inter, because I've had a bitter taste in my mouth with regards to the moves from Juve to Inter. You'd never see this way around. So I got a big beef and thing. I got my whole family's unfortunately Interista. These guys, they're going for therapy. To fix their problem being Interista. But it would be Lautaro and Barella 100%. And enough's enough with our players going there after they've gone here. Like
Oh, yeah.
stand
D-
I can't stand.
DeMarco is a great shout, actually.
Yeah,
DeMarco's a great shout. I think that guy is a baller. Yeah.
fantastic player. Great as weak on the D side, but his balls, his ability to overlap as well is unreal, and it gives a lot of freedom to guys. Like he gives freedom to Mkhitaryan and to Chananoglu. Most people don't realize um, he plays the same role, and Inzaghi's taken I don't want to go off topic, taking pages out of Mancini's book. He's taken page from him in the Euro Cup, the last one we won. If you noticed, Insigne had the best games that he had was when Spinazzola was overlapping and just taking two, three players with him, and he was given all that freedom on the inside of the mid attacking component. And I think that is Demarco is that to Chananoglu and Mkhitaryan more than he is to Barella. Barella can run; he's got four lungs. That guy, man, you can play him by himself in the midfield. But though he does so much on that wing to free up mid space, that's the danger. And you know what? When I was in Torino, think it was Cambiaso. I think was on him the majority of the game, and if I'm not mistaken, couldn't move because Cambiaso's got wheels as well. So wheel to wheel thing, and you had a very solid, but the guy's deadly, and he's just a great asset. I think that would be fantastic. I'm just hoping that if we go bankrupt, my other third would be having Marotta back.
Marotta, yeah.
Give us back our vice president.
I'm gonna
Give us-
say though, Giuntoli, I wanna wait to see what he cooks up, and I think this summer is gonna be an interesting summer at Juventus. But yeah, it's interesting. Demarco, I think also the utility factor doesn't get talked about a lot because he filled in at the left center back role a couple times. He filled in the midfield a couple times too. Like this guy is one of those guys that will play wherever you put him, and he'll make an impact. He'll have a save from wherever he's playing. So it's interesting. The defense, yeah, it's a little suspect at times, but with the output you get, you could probably deal with that. So we got time for, I think, one or two more Storm the Barns. We got here from Jeremiah. He's got two questions, so this might do it. Are you disappointed with Miretti thus far? Let's start off with that one. Are you disappointed with Miretti thus far? I'll kick us off on this. I have said for a while that for me, it's more important and crucial for the key guys and the older guys to be pulling the majority of the weight for Juventus. So if you ask me straight up, are you disappointed with Miretti this far? I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in him. No. I will say we want more from him and we need more out of a player that's in our starting 11. But that's not me being disappointed with him per se. He needs a loan, but for me, it's we can't be we can't put way too much on these young guys. The brunt of the weight needs to go to the guys that have been around for a while. Like I said, Locatelli finally evolving, taking that next step because he's been in this role for 3 years now. I don't want to hear out of position anymore. Rabiot had a monster year last year. Follow it up the same. The Monza game needs to be the norm. That needs to be you for this team to succeed. Chiesa needs to be a driving force. Vlahovic is 23 years old. He's what, 22, 23? Couple of years younger than Chiesa. But you know what? Your price tag and your salary demands that of you, even from age. So for Moretti, my expectations far less than guys that have been around for much. At the back line, I expect a certain standard from Danilo as opposed to Gatti. Bremer, I expect Bremer to be the rock. He has been the rock, by the way. Absolute unit. Rugani finally coming into his own. Great. I expect that. You're a veteran. You've been around for a long time. So I'm not disappointed with Moretti. I believe Moretti needs a loan and he will continue to grow. It's not a disappointment. It's just going to be part of his journey. That's how I feel. John, what do you have to say about Moretti?
Um, Look, I was super critical of him end of last year, beginning of this. I'm gonna agree with you that transition in leadership. You're talking about a young kid caught in a very crazy period for Juventus history. With the points deduction, the stuff with Pogba, Fagioli. I think that he just needs to simplify his game and like not lose the opportunities when he comes on the pitch. I'm not concerned that he's not a starter. I'm concerned that he doesn't make the most of his opportunities. Thing Allegri loves him. He just on the presser, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he told him he was like he's going nowhere and he's a wonderful thing. And no one's doubting his potential, but you know what potential gets you? Nowhere. Uh, you know, um, so I like him. Loan. Would I be disappointed if Juve tried to part ways with him? No, not. I just we have to understand that this team needs to get to the level that we're used to, and it's not. And right now, he's showing mediocrity, in my opinion. And we're not. That's not what Juve is. We're not mediocrity. So he needs to step it up, or we need to get him out.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to figure it out, but I think loan is the next move there. I wouldn't go outright sale immediately. Definitely a loan
No.
first, and let's see what happens. The second part, can Fajoli be a force next season? One step back and two steps forward, perhaps. He can, and I hope he does. But yeah, I mean, he's got everything, you know. And I was always, like I said, I think he finished the season off very, very strong last season when coming in, made a great balance with Locatelli and Rabiot. But this season at the start, and then we found out what was going on with the gambling and stuff. But I said at the start of the season, like he doesn't look like he was behind Miretti. And he started off last season kind of the same way. And I thought he was behind Miretti. But can he do it? Absolutely he can. And I hope he is. And I hope he brings to us what we expect. And again, like John mentioned, potential's fantastic, but you got to make something out of it, right? So your thoughts on Fajoli, John?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be. Personally speaking, um, practicing versus game experience, they're night and day. They're not even close. I know they say he'll be back or eligible to play. Bert, you correct me if I'm wrong. Last game of the season, he'll be available to play. That's from what I understand, based upon the length of his suspension. I the player that he is, um, mentality. I don't see him being brought into the fray. I think, if Max is still there, he's going to be slowly brought into the team. He won't be starting. He'll be coming in off the bench. And like, if there's a turning point, look at it this time next year. He's not. It's not going to be automatic. And it's just the mentality of a player, and who he is, and whether we want to invest in another 6 months of waiting to see, the next coming. I'm tougher than most people on Fajoli. I'm disappointed in him as a person. I know we all make mistakes. He lives in the limelight. He's given a lot of freedom that we aren't as individuals, and opportunities to excel at many things and have the support that most of us don't have. Um, I'm on the opposite side of the fence of saying, if he doesn't ever play for Juventus again, I'll be honest, it's pretty bad that I probably not impacted by it. And I don't see him having anything of the sort. And look, for all of you who are Fajoli fans and thinking this guy needs his head checked, I hope for us as Juve fans that he does. I just don't see it. I just don't see, based on what he's gone through, and where he needs to come from, that he's going to be anywhere impactful until the second half of the season.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out for Nicolo. Now we've got another one coming in here. If you want Sule to stay, who would you lose or sell, Yildiz or Chiesa? Don't see all three of them on the field at once, and all defensive tasks to fall on Rabiot and Luca. Number one, okay, we probably are going to have to sell somebody to drop funds. But Sule, I don't know where his actual value is going to be come end of the season in comparison to, say, a guy like Illing Jr. if Illing Jr. is not around or being moved. That said, if I have to move one out of these three, it's Sule, and I keep Yildiz and Chiesa. If Sule has to be the one to stay, and it's one of those other guys, holy Christ, that's difficult. But for me, the option of all three of them remaining could very well still be there. But no, like Yildiz and Chiesa, I want to see actually stay at Juventus, both of them. Like I said, going in this season from where we're on now to season's end, the two of them interchanging at that role, perfection for me. Out of those three, I would say Yildiz. I'd sell Yildiz. John, or sorry, I'd sell
Oh,
Sule, not Yildiz. Jesus, I'd sell
oh,
Sule.
geez. I don't know what to say. I wouldn't want to sell any of them, to be very honest with you. And I
Well,
think
yeah.
that, can we sell? Can you get rid
Alex
of
had
some?
no problem. Get rid of Sule. Simple as. Right away. Sule.
Well, Alex, no, can't agree. I won't. I would never get rid of Sule. I'm telling you,
Really?
I would no. I think he's got more upside than most people think. I think that this kid he's like, he's earning his stripes, and I uh, I don't know, man. This is a hard question for me. I You know how this is gonna get some serious. You're gonna get some serious feedback on me today on this. My opinion of Kay is a fantastic player, person. I'm not a big fan, and for obvious reasons, having met him a couple of times. Sorry to burst the bubble for a few of you out there, but this is where you get the real news right here, AJC. If you don't like it, too bad. But personality wise, I know on the pitch that's where we pay these guys. But I wouldn't I wouldn't sell any of these three. If I could just get rid of Sandro and DeShilio, I'll be happy, and keep the rest. We'll play Sule left back.
Yeah.
I can't
Mm,
like. I honestly, you need depth. I don't understand how you can't keep these guys and have them not have the ability to have strong players. You need these guys off the bench. Like, come on, we had think about it. We were playing a strong three man with Barzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini, but then we would be bringing in Lick as a fourth and play a four thing. Lichtsteiner was an absolute beauty for us. And you look at guys that were coming off the pit off the bench for us when we had that marvel of a mid with Pirlo, Pogba, Marquisio, and Vidal. Like guys, like you gotta have depth. No one like
I
I just
I
I don't know how you don't have a thing. I couldn't get rid of any of them.
yeah, we obviously we want to keep all three, but Yildiz, I'm not moving. I think he's going to be the untouchable there. Sule, what's interesting is that I remember Romeo Agresti coming on here in one of the first episodes he did with us when we were talking about youngsters. Youngsters have always been this big topic around Juventini and wanting to see these youngsters integrated, involved. And he had such high praise at the time for Sule, who was still with the Next Gen project at that time. And he said, for me, it's Sule as like the top young talent that we had at that particular moment, which I believe
Mhm.
was 2 seasons ago. But it might have been early last. No, I think it was 2 seasons ago. And he said Sule was the guy for him, and he thinks he's got just the world of potential and so much ahead of him. So I get it. For me though, and I'm sorry that it didn't pan out having met Chiesa and whatnot. I don't like hearing that from guys that are key guys around the club and whatnot, but I know Animesh says keep an eye out for him too if this extension doesn't get signed, but the signs and indications are that it is just a matter, it's a formality, it's an inevitable that's going to be signed. He's going to get an extension. I don't want to see Chiesa go either. I just,
No,
I, I don't know. I would pick Sule to go out of all this, but I do so not being happy with letting him go. Okay, so it's just my pick out of those three. But difficult questions. You guys always ask the tough questions here in the AJC Army, and that's what I love about you guys. All right, now we are wrapping things up. We obviously got our predictions in, victories all around, and really it has to be. There is no watch along today. I'm working. All right, I would have loved to run a watch along, but I'll run a watch along for when we beat the piss out of Salernitana on the weekend. All right, so you guys can all tune in there, and I'll be bringing on the live watch along. I want to give John this opportunity to talk a bit about what the official fan clubs North America got going on coming up, some new clubs, and I want you to talk about what's upcoming with Toronto and your trip this year. So fire away, man.
yeah, good. We're climbing. We've opened up New Jersey, and in a lickety split, also Palm Beach for those traveling south. A lot of snowbirds who got to come from Canada or even out from the eastern, northeastern part of the states. Our good friends out there, go down. You go Florida, go so Palm Beach, and you present there is Duccio Baldari. Follow him, and if you need to join, get a hold of him. We got 3 clubs in Florida now, which is awesome. Looking to bring back Miami. That would be 4. I'd love to have 4 on the East Coast. Looking to bring it back. Boston. It's been fun. I can confirm that Juve is coming back. Again, I know you brought that up, but we'll be coming back this coming summer, doing the summer tour in the U.S. We do not, and I do not have where, when, and who are they playing. I don't have that information. Once I do, you guys will be the first to know. We'll be going our for those who are interested out of the GTA Toronto area. We are setting up a trip April 2nd to the 10th. And those are the tentative dates. So we're trying to get we're hoping for the win today. Obviously, if that gives us the opportunity, we are going to be watching a Coppa Italia semifinal game. If we get back by Frosinone, if that's the case, that'll be either in Rome or in Turin. So it'll be a Coppa Italia game and the home game against Fiorentina. The great thing that's happening, and we're hoping that it's falling on that day. We're not so sure, We're planning to be there during JOFC Day, which is Juventus Official Fan Club Day, which is a gathering of all the presidents across the planet that meet in Torino once a year to be a part of festivities to celebrate everything that's there. So that hopefully will be happening April 6th. It's a good day. It's my birthday. It's also the birth date of the Toronto club. Is April 6th as well. So looking to
Look at
celebrate.
that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The
That's
birth date of our
crazy.
club and the birth date of my birth date is the same day. It's pretty crazy. So we're looking to celebrate JFC Day, my old hag birthday, and the birthday of our club in Turin on April 6th. We're like I said, if we do, it's Coppa Italia and the game against Fiorentina, stadium tour, museum tour, a visit to Profeta Hernandez's vineyard and spa in Asti, day trips out, hopefully make it out to Monza and or Milan as well for day trips. You guys can reach us at if you got questions. We're on Instagram for Juventus official fan clubs North America. You can find all of your others. Baltimore. Just saw CJ on. Good morning, CJ. Great guy out of our Baltimore fan club. So we got a good group. So if you want to reach out to us, Juve Club TO, and we will get back to you. But it looks like that's those are the dates. We had a blast last year, even though we lost. We saw two games that we lost. We got to experience and meet the players last year, which was epic for everybody involved. We had a good core group of 20, made some memories, made some new friendships. And this is what it's all about, the fan clubs. I know people say, I can watch and be a fan of Juventus on my own. Absolutely. You can raise kids on your own, but that doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? Like, but being a fan base, look, this is what it's done. Me and Berto, 2 years ago, very little known about each other. Now we talk more than we do to our respective wives on a daily basis. It's the friendships, it's the camaraderie, it's the ability to share an experience, and that experience is being a fan. It transcends what and any physical attachment to a jersey is really belonging to something. And this is a strong base. We are the best fan club base in North America. There's no one like the JFC and thing. You can all the haters, all the mutts, all the chihuahuas. They have nothing compared to what we are. So we have a strong contingent, very smart and intelligent leaders amongst our groups, and that's that. We're
Yeah.
looking to grow, and I know we're talking guys out in the East Coast, Philadelphia. Anybody watching want to start a fan club? Las Vegas, we need one in Sin City. Right. So as long as we don't bring Fajoli there, we'll be fine. It's we need one in Vegas. So if you got anyone out there in Arizona who wants to start a club, no problem. I'll come out there. Nice dry weather, play some golf. Let's do it. Get a hold of me. We'd love to increase our fan base and our family, our black and white family in North America.
There you go. So if you don't have one and you're near those areas, reach out. Let's set one up. Let's go. Philadelphia's the latest one. I know I'm working with Gianfranco there in on through Instagram and whatnot. They're trying to get one fired up there. So if you're tuning in, if you're from Philadelphia, reach out if you're interested in joining up with a fan club. They're trying to set something up. All right. So shout out. And I gotta say, for myself personally, I'm part of the Vancouver fan club. I don't get to get over there often enough because it is a 3.5 to 4 hour drive through the winter. You don't want to be traveling the Coquihalla, all right? So that show Highway to Hell, yeah, that's our road to Van. But I still gladly make the trip whenever I can because the watch-alongs are epic. And going there for my first time and taking in the Milan match with the crew was incredible, and met some people that it felt like we had known each other for years. So the watch parties are epic, but all the other things that these fan clubs do is incredible. And I mean, the giveaways, the tours that you set up, the access to tickets for games.
Yeah.
I know that Vancouver, when Chiellini was playing against the Whitecaps from LAFC, Pietro went out of his way to organize a meet and greet with the fan club, and they were hanging out with him in the hotel, speaking with Chiellini, and he took the time to talk to everybody. It was incredible. So things like that, I'm telling you, they do everything to bring you closer and closer to this beloved Vecchia Signora. And this summer, maybe, just maybe, in North America, Juventus might be coming back for the third time. I don't know, but we'll see. A lot of big things going on. But you guys, John, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate all the work you've done. I'm honored still and extremely happy to be in this partnership and the official voice and channel for the official fan clubs North America. Thank you for everything you do. AJC Army, you guys are incredible. Thank you as always for a great live. The questions, you guys always ask the hard questions. Enjoy the match today. We're going to be back tomorrow, breaking it all down, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, okay? And I'm very confident we're going to have a victory Friday, and we could talk about the match and then look forward to smashing these guys on the weekend as well. As always, everybody, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. Let's move on in the Coppa Italia today. Ciao tutti. Take care.
Yeah.